Hello and welcome back to V8 TechWorks. So today we are going to continue building our application right here, and you can see right here that we are building on our background services here. So in the last video we talked about how you can be able to send emails using Node Mailer, and we created this part here that we are calling helpers. Under helpers we have this function here, or this file, that help us to be able to create the transporter here, and also this function that is called send mail here, and this one is the one that is going to help us so to send the emails, and I'm going to show you that. So inside here also we have to have several things. For example, we need to have the templates that we are going to send in using the emails. So here I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So if I come here to my inbox, any of my email here, you are going to see what is the template. So like if you want to understand mostly about templates, it's like sending HTML in your email, and you can embed things like images, or maybe any animation, and also many other things. So for example, let's say we have this here, or let's say for example this email here, be able to see that this email is structured in a way, and you can see they have embedded things like icons for social media here, and this is just HTML that has been sent using this email. So let's do that. So let's first of all look for templates. So the templates that we are going to use. So I had already prepared some templates to show you. So I'm going to come here to my documents, and then we have this HTML challenge here. So under this HTML challenge here, you can see we have several templates that I prepared beforehand. So if I open, for example, this one here, like that, you'll be able to see that this is one of the email template that you are going to send, and you can see this is how we are going to pass the data. So for the name here, for the phone number, for the address here, for the blood group, for the diseases here, and also you can see we have embedded things like our logo here. So this one is just HTML, and I want to show you why I say that. And because if you check here, you can see this is template 1.html. So this one is just HTML. So what I'm going to do in our case here, because already I have those templates prepared, so I'm going to just come here and make sure that I get those templates. I think they are inside the other project that I built for demo. So let's see this one here. We have a blood donation application here. Under this part, you can be able to see that inside background services, we have templates here. So I'm going to copy this like that, and then I'm going to paste them inside now this application that you are going to build. So this one that is called full stack blood donation application. So I'm going to get into my background services here, and I'm going to paste this inside here. So under here, if I go back to my application, open background services here, you'll be able to see that we have templates inside here. So in your case, what I'm going to do is that before I release this video, also I'm going to have added the description of this template in the description of this video. Or what you can do is that, because I would have already pushed my code to my GitHub, you'll be able to download these templates from there. So you just come to my GitHub here, so and open my GitHub, because also at the end of this video we are going to push our code. So you are going to see this template inside this repo here. But before that, let me show you these templates here. So for example, we have this template here for blood donation donor, and then you can see this is just a regular HTML here, and you can modify how you want it. You can just style it how you want. You can see the style here. I have a style header one here. The status, you can see I have tried to add animation right there. We have our p tag here, which is our paragraph. We have our email wrapper here, email header, email body, and right here you can see the content. You can see I have already added for you the logo. So inside in this image here, So you can see this is how you pass in the data using the template. For example, here we are going to pass in the name, we are going to pass in the email right here, we are going to pass the phone number, the address, the blood group type, the disease, the weight, all these things. And you can see this how it is has been structured. So another, let me check for another one here. So for example, this one, actually this is the one that we have gone through. So I'm going to look for this one here. So you can see another services here. So for this is for actually sending an email for eligibility. So if we check and see the person who want to donate blood has not attained the requirement, for example, they must be above 18 years, and also they must have attained at least 50 kgs of weight. So we are going to send this email here, and you can see we are going to just pass the name here, and then this one will be, we are going to add this part here, or you can see the text here. Thank you for your interest in donating blood through Blood Bridge. We regret to inform you that based on the information provided, you do not meet the eligibility criteria for blood donation at this time. So I think now you have got to understand, or you have understood the meaning of these templates here, and you can see they are actually .ejs because we are using ejs to template. I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to close this, and also this for send email, I'm going to close it here. And remember, because we have this that we are calling email service, this is where we are going to create our services. So the first service that you are going to have is the one that you are going to call here. You are going to call this send. So send prospect or details. So let's add here details, and then prospect. So this one is going to send an email for somebody who has registered to donate blood, but they have not donated blood. So this is like thank you, and also it will have already, it will also send the location and the time that they can go and donate blood in various locations. So to start with here, I want to first of all make sure that I import things like EJS, because we are going to use EJS to template. So I'm going to say require, and then EJS here. I'm sure I installed EJS. Also, I'm going to actually get .env. So .env like that. So let me import it. Require .env like that. Also, I'm going to actually make sure that I import the other one, which is the prospect. So prospect from our models. So require, and then this one is from the models. So you can be able to see the models here. And then here we need to actually take this prospect here. And then also I'm going to do .env .config here, because we need to use some .env. So I'm going to use .config right there. And here also I'm going to now create the function. So the function that we are going to create is called send. So we are going to call send details, and then prospect. So prospect email here. This is an arrow function. So let me add as arrow function here. And another thing is that we need to make sure that we export this. So I'm going to use module.exports, and then we are going to actually send this. So this is send details. You can see send details prospect email right there. And now this function, we need to call it here in our scheduler. So inside here, so that it will be called after every second. So here I'm going to say send a prospect, or let's say send details. You can see already here we can be able to import it like that, and we can call that function in our scheduler here, so that it will run after every second as we scheduled up here. So I'm going to go back here and now continue with our service. So our service will be, first of all, to check if there is any prospect. So prospects, so let me create prospect. So it will be able to await. Let me first of all await here, async, and then async here. And this here, it will be able to check for the prospect and then find. So this means that you need to go into the database and check if there is any prospect that has a status of 0, like that. That means that they have registered but they have not received email. So that means they have a status of 0. If they have a status of 1, that means they already have they have received an email, because after this function here has run and then they have sent an email, then the status here will be updated to 1, and I'm going to show you that. So here I'm going to first of all make sure that I loop now. So I'm going to loop if there is any prospect here. So I'm going to loop. So actually I can just first of all check. So I'm going to check if prospects. So if prospects dot length, and I can say it's greater than 0. That means that array is not empty. Then I need to loop here. So I'm going to loop inside here and say let prospect of prospects, like that. So I'm going to start looping because I need to loop and send email to those prospects individually. So that means that you need to loop. And here, first thing that I need to do is to template now. So I'm going to use EJS and then render file here. So this is how you use how you template your email. So the first argument here in our render file function of EJS, we need to pass in the templates. So the template that you are going to use, for now we are going to use templates, and we are going to use a template that is called blood donation prospect dot EJS, like that. And then the other argument that you need to have is the data that you want to pass. So in our case here, we are going to pass the name, and the name here will be from the prospect. So that prospect dot the name, like that. And then the other thing that you need to have here is a callback function. So we are going to have a callback function that either will produce data or error. So let me just come here. This one will be either error or data. So like that. So first, let me show you first of all this template here that we are calling blood donation prospect here. So if I come to the templates here, let me see. So this one is for eligibility. So this one, I think this one, this is the one. This is for the reminder. This is for donation, blood donation prospect. Yes. So if you check here, you'll be able to see that we are passing in here. Let me scroll. We need to pass in the name here. So it will be hello and then the name here. So I'm going to cross that, and you can be able to see here in this function how we are passing the name. So the name and then the prospect dot name here. That's how you are able to make sure that you pass in the name. So I'm going to get inside here. So then it will produce either the error or the data. And inside here, this is now we can be able to actually create now configurations. So this one we are going to call them message options, and message options are very important, and we are going to pass them to send mail function. So the first thing that we need to have here is the from which email, and remember we have that email in our process.env and then .email, and then also we are going to use to. So this one is 2. Here we are going to have which mail we are going to send to. So this one is for prospect dot email, Also, we are going to have a subject. So the subject of the email here, so the subject of the email will be Brad Bridge. So this one will be Brad Bridge, and then thank you, like that. You can add any subject that you want. And then the other thing that you are going to add here is HTML, and then this HTML we are going to pass in the data. So the data that is up here, so you can be able to see this data here. This is the one that you are going to pass. So you're going to, after now these configurations here, or the message option, what we are going to do is to try catch, because we need now to send the email and we can have an error. So we are going to try catch here, and then the first thing that I need to do is to call the send mail function. So we have send mail here. You can be able to, cannot be able to see it here. So what I'm going to do is to just import it. Remember the send mail function that we created here, and also we imported right here. So I'm going to make sure that, let me first of all close this here. So if I close this, and then let me just come here to my sender email, and you can be able to see here that we need to pass these message options. So let me click here. So send send mail here, and we can be able to import it very easily. So let me first of all try and import it like that. So because I cannot be able to see the auto completion, so I'm going to say here send mail like that, and then here we are going to require. So, and here we are going to have the sender, or the from helpers. We are going to import it from helpers, and then the function that is called send mail like that. So we are going to call that function here, and we are going now to pass in the message options. So message options right here. You can see the message option that we have here, that we have created above here. And now if we have successfully sent now the email here, we need to update the prospect. So what we are going to do is to say await. So here, if I use await here, I need to add a sync like that. So then again here, I'm going to call the prospect, and then use the function for MongoDB, which is find by ID. So find by ID and update like that. And then inside here, we can be able to pass in, first of all, the prospect dot underscore ID. And then here we can add this set. So here we have set, and then here we state, now what we need to set here is the status, to have a status of 1 like that. So I think now it's clear. So now then, if we have error here, we can just console log. So console.log, and then we have the error. So the error like that, and then I think that's okay now. So let me format my code here like that. So what we have done right here is, first of all, check if we have any prospect that has a status of 0. That means that we have the prospect who have registered but they have not received any email. So if there is any here, we template our email through looping, and after we have looped here, we are going to send individual email that are templated here, and we pass in the name here. So we are updating, because this function right here, we update the status to 1, because this function is running after every second, checking for a prospect that has a status of 0. So that means we don't want to keep sending emails to the prospect. That is, we only need to send only one email, and then the next time that this function or this scheduler is running, after 1 second, it will find that that prospect already has a status of 1. So that means that it won't send that email. So I'm going to save that, and we are going to continue with other functions or services. So let us create another service here, and this one will be for sending eligibility email. So now, because already you know what we are doing, so I'm going to at least make sure that this is faster. So eligibility dot, I think this is eligibility email, like that, and .js. And then inside here now, first thing I need to actually copy this, like that, because this one we are going to use them. Actually, all of this we are going to use them. So let me copy that, and then I'm going to paste them here. And then the other thing is now we can create this function here. So the function is const. Here we need to create a function that is called send eligibility email, like that. So this is an arrow function, just like that. We need to make sure that we have exported this function. So module dot exports, like that, and then here we need to export this email. So send eligibility email, like that. And then this one we are going to call it also, we are going to import it and use it in our index.js here inside our scheduler. So let me import it first of all here and call it. So send eligibility email, can be able to see it there, and then I can be able to import it like that. I'm going to save this and then close that file. So now we can concentrate with the functionality right here. So the first thing is to first of all make sure that we get the prospects. So I'm going to just add here get prospects from. Now I'm going to await, and then I'm going to get them from my database. So dot find here, remember the status is 0. We are going to check for the status, that prospect that has a status of 0. So status should be having, let me just make sure that I add a status of 0 here, like that. And then here also I add a sync, like that. And then so that we are going, because this is a synchronous function, let me add it here. And then again, now if we have prospects, so I'm going to add here if, so first of all, the prospects, if prospects have a dot length is greater than 0, that means we have prospects. So then again, what we are going to do right here is, first of all, we are going to loop. So actually, let me start looping here. So we are going to loop. So I'm going to use let prospect. So let prospect of prospects let me add it here, like that. And then here we need now to check for eligibility. So the first criteria is that the person must be 18 years old. So what we are going to do is, inside here we are going to check if, so if this person is of age. So we are going to add here prospect dot age is equal to or is greater than 18, first of all. And if is or is less than 18 years, and or maybe me add here, or maybe let me just go back. So if also the prospect dot, let's say weight is less than 50. So either if these two, one of them is not met, or maybe all of them they are not met, then that means that we are going now to send the email. So if it is that, we are going to have ejs.render file. So this function here, render file, we are going to pass in, first of all, what we are going to pass is the templates that we are going to use. So the templates are going to send from the templates here, and then the template I'm going to send is called brand donation eligibility, eligibility, and it is .ejs, like that. We are going to pass in the name. So here we need to pass the name here. So the name is from prospect. So it is from prospect.name. Also, we are going to pass in the age. So the age here we need to pass in as the prospect.age. We are going to pass in also the weight. So the weight here, and the weight is from prospect.weight. So like that. And then the other thing is a callback function here that has either the error or maybe the data, like that. So if I have this here, so inside here is where I'm going to have the configurations now, or the message options. And because already I have done that, I'm going to copy these message options here, like that, and then I'm going to use them inside here, like that, because I don't want to spend a lot of time here. So also I'm going to add here async. So after these message options here, the other thing is to try catch. So we are going to try catch here, like that, and then we are going to await. So make sure that you add async here. I have already added it. So async, and then we are going to have await. And then the first thing that I want to do is to delete this person from the database. So I'm going to add here, so prospect, because we don't want to register this person in our database, or to leave this person in our database. So we are going to add here prospect, and then find by ID, and delete, like that. And then the only thing that we need to pass here is the prospect ID, so that prospect underscore ID, and then that is all that we need to do. So here we are going to do console.log, and then here we can say error, like that. We can just pass in the error, like that. So that is that. Let me just format this. I think now you can be able to understand what you're doing right there. So I'm going to save that and also close this one here. So the other services that you are going to build right here is for reminder, the email for the reminder. So I'm going to create here a file that is called send brand donation reminder, like that, reminder.js, like that. And then here we can first of all make sure that we copy some of the things from here, or even most of them from the importation here. Let me copy all of this, but in this case, because this is the donor, here we need to change several things. For example, this one will be donor. So from the prospect here to donor, and also we are going to import from the donor here, like that. And then the other thing that we need to do here is just to make sure that we create another function here that is called send blood donation reminder. So reminder, like that. And then this is an arrow function. We need to first of all export this. So module.exports, like that. And then let's export this email here, this function, sorry. And then I'm going to come here to my index.js, and I'm going to call that function here. So send blood donation. So send blood donation reminder right there, and then import it. You can be able to see that they are already being imported up here. So this one, I think, don't see, yeah, they need to be 3 of them. So I can see here they are just 2, but we are going to take care of those in the future. So I'm going to first of all save this and just close that. So inside here, the first thing that I want to do is to create a function up here, and this function is for formatting my date. So let me come here and copy this function like that, and then copy it right here. Another thing is that here in our broad donation, now we can start working on functionality. For first thing that I'm going to do is to check for the donors right here, all the donors. So I'm going to say await and then donor dot find like that. So because it's all donors, there's no criteria that we need to add inside here, and here we need to add a sync like that. And then the other thing that we need to do right here is that we need now to make sure that the donors are not empty. So donors dot length, it's larger than 0 like that, and then here we can just start looping. So to loop this, it will be very fast. So the first thing that we need to do is create for loop. So let donor of donors like that, and then here we can start looping. So the first thing that we need before we start looping is to calculate. We need to calculate the difference, the difference between donor date, or the date that the donor last donated blood, and today's date. Let me add here and today's date like that. And then inside here now, let's try. First thing you need to do is to get the donor date. So donor date like that. We are going to use new date. So new date, instantiation of date, and then here we are going to pass in the donor date like that. And then also inside here we are going to now get the dates, today's date, so today, and then it's going to get now new date, yeah, so like that. And let me call this function, and then also we are going to now get the difference. So I'm going to call it diff time first thing, and then this one we are going to get math. We are going to use math.abs, and then here we are going to say today minus donor date, so this one here. And then after that, now also we need to have the difference of days, so difference of days like that. And this one we are going to use math.cell like that, and then we are going to take in now the difference of different time. You can be able to see we have calculated it up here, and then we are going to make sure to get the date or the days. I'm going to take 1000 to divide the difference in time, and then divide it by 1000 multiplied by 60, and then also multiply by another 60, and then multiply by 24. So this is how you calculate the difference between two dates in terms of days. So if now here, what I'm going to do is that if now I'm going to check also if the difference between the days here like that is greater than 60 days, because that means that the donor already has donated between the dates, the last time the donor donated blood and today's date. There is a difference of, if there is a difference of 60 days, that means that they can donate blood again, and we are going to send them a reminder email if they want to just donate blood again. So I'm going to use the EJS and render file here, this function, this function, first thing that it accepts is the templates that we want to use. So in our case here, this is the templates we are going to use is called blood donation reminder.ejs, like that. And then also we are going to pass in some data. For example, I'm going to pass in the name, and the name here is the donor name here. And also we are going to pass in the date. So the date here is the donor date, like that. So donor date. And then after that, we are going to pass in, or the other argument is a callback function. And this callback function can have two things, either the error or the data, like that. So for this one, I'm going to first of all make sure that I have the message options. So I'm going to come here and let me check for, even I can be able to just check in the error if we have the error. But in our case here, let me just go forward and first of all create these message options here. So copy this, and then inside here I can be able to paste it here. So this one, I'm going to format this, and for subject here, this subject will be different. So this one will be, let me just add here hello, and then blood, can say blood bridge donor, like that, blood bridge donor. And then I'm going to this also, I'm going to change this to donor email. So donor email, like that. And then now after this part here, I'm going to try catch here. So try catch, so like that. And then now this is where we need to format now, or we send the email. So I'm going to say await, and then send mail, like that, and then pass in the message option. So the message option, like that. Also, we are going to make sure here that we update. So we need to update the dates. So I'm going to come here and update the dates using the, actually here, because we have an error here, let's add async. So let us now update the date, but before that we need to format that date before we update that. So we are going to use formatted date, the function that we added up here. So you can see this function that we added, format date. So format, it is called format date, I think, like that. Let me check again. So format date, yeah, I think it's correct. Here we need to pass in, and now here we need to pass in the date. So to pass in the date is the today date, and then again now we need to make sure we update the donor. So the donor date, that is. So let me just make sure that I remove this. So here we are going to just say const formatted date, and then we are going to get them from this format date here. So after that, now we are going to update now. So to update the donor, we are going to do donor dot find by ID. So find by ID and update. So find by ID and update, like that. And then here we are going to first of all pass in the donor dot ID, like that. So here you can be able to see that. I'm going to format this a little bit. So this one we are going to have inside here. Also we are going to set now whatever we want. So I'm going to have a set here. So set, and inside here we can be able to set now the date. So the date here is for now the formatted date. So formatted date, like that. And then the last thing that we need to do now, I think that's okay, because now remember that we have formatted the date, we have updated the date to the today's date. So the next time this function is running, that means that let me first of all also console log here. So console.log here, and then you are going to have the error here. So we are going to console log the error. So here this means that we have updated the day to day's date. So the next time that this application is running, or this service is running, then it won't send the email to the donor, because we don't want to spam the inbox of our donor through the email. We need to update the date, so that the difference now, if we send them the date and we update that date to the today's date, then the difference here will be 0, or it won't be greater than, or the difference between the dates here won't be greater than 60. So, and then when the donor donate blood, we are going also to update the date to that day's date, and so that the system will keep checking for that date, and if the difference between the dates is greater than 60, and then send the email. So this is how the system is working, or that's how the system is working. So I'm going to save that, and also as open here, send eligibility here, and sending this eligibility email here. What I forgot to do here, I need to send here I want to send the email. I forgot to send the email here, so I'll wait, and then here we can add send mail like that, and we can be able to add the message options here. So message option, and then the other thing that we need to do is to change the subject here. So the subject here will be blood donation. So blood donation eligibility, like that. And then now we can continue with the other services. So I think this is okay now. So let me format my code here. So make sure that you update for the eligibility. Make sure that you're sending the email using this send mail here, this function. So I'm going to now close this. Let me close this and create another services here. So the other services that you are going to create here is that the one for sending the donors details, their details, sorry. So I'm going to create here another function. These functions are the ones that I'm calling also the services. So don't get confused. So send donor details like that. I think this is how we need to call it. So send donor details email. I think that's how we are going to call it. So now here we can be able to close this. I'm going to open my donors here. This one for sending a reminder. So I'm going to copy everything here. Up here, this one for importing. So let me copy this, and then inside here I can be able to paste this. So inside here I can be able also to create a function. So I'm going to call this function send details, donor details. So I'm going to call donor details email like that. Also, this is we are going to have it as an arrow function. So here we are going to make sure that we export it. So dot exports, and then this one is let me make sure that I remove this capital as 0 or O. So here we are going to add send donors details email, like that. Actually I have done the wrong way, so this one should be donor details, like that. So this one up here, and then now we can proceed here. So and then inside here we need to create the functionality now. So the first thing that we need to do is to create here donors. So let's get the donors here, await async here. We need to get them from the database, so sync, and then here we need to add here await donor, and then dot find, and then here we are going to have a status of 0. So those that has a status of 0. So here we are going to add here if the donors dot length is greater than 0, that means we can be able to continue with our functionality. We need to loop through. So let donor of, let me add here of donors, and then here we need to loop through. So we need to add ejs dot render file, this one, and then we are going to add the templates. So let me add the template that I'm going to use here. So this one. So here we are going to use our templates. So the templates here that we are going to use is called blood donation donor dot ejs, like that. And then the other thing that you are going to have here is the data that you are going to pass. So in our case here, this we are going to have the name. The name here we are going to pass in the donor name. So donor.name, we are going to have the email. So the email, this one we are going to add as a donor.email, like that. We are going to pass in the tel here, which is donor.tel, that is phone number. Also right here, we are going to pass in the address. So let me add here address. So this one is from donor.address, and then also we are going to pass in the blood group. So blood group, because now that means that we have screened the blood. So the blood group here is donor.blood group, like that. Also we are going to have here, so here we are going to have diseases, if we have, there's any diseases that are present in the blood. So this one we are going to have donor, and then dot, so donor dot diseases, like that. We are going to have weight. We are going to pass in the weight. Let me add here the weight. Then this one is from the donor dot weight. Also we are going to have this one. After the weight here, we need to have a blood pressure. So blood pressure, this one will be donor dot blood pressure, right there. We are going to have also the age. So this one is donor dot age, and then the last thing is the date. So this one will be donor dot date, like that. And then after that, already you know we have a callback function here. So after this, we can have the callback function, so that either has error or the data, like that. So here we need to pass in now we are going to have this message. So this message option. So I'm going to copy this from here. So copy that, and then I'm going to paste it here, like that. And then here we also need to add async. So this one we are going to change the subject. So the subject here, we are going to have a subject of, let's say, hello blood bridge donor. So I think this is still okay. You can just have it as this subject. So after that, now we can make sure that we try and catch or send the email. So the first thing that we are going to do here is to send the email, and we are going to use the send mail function here and pass in the message option. So message option. Another thing is that also we are going to have now to update our donor. So we are going to have a donor dot find by id. So find by id and update. So this is the function of MongoDB. So find by ID and update, and we are going to pass in donor dot underscore ID, and then here we are going to pass in to set. So set, and then inside here we can be able to maybe add here. So set, it will be set, and then inside here we can have status of 1, like that. So I think that's now okay. Then here we can console log if we have any error. So console.log and then error, like that. So I'm going to format this like that. I think that's okay now. So I can just add it in our index.js right here. So I'm going to add send. I think, how did we call that? So donor, and I think donor details right there, and then like that. So we have already created all these 4 services here. So in our case, our system will have 4 services, and already we have already imported all of them here. We have created them, so they will be run after every second. So that is that. I need also to check send details. So send details prospect email. We have this one for eligibility. For the reminder here, I'm not able to see for the reminder here, so I think I need to import it. So for the reminder, so let me check if we can be able to import it. So I cannot be able to see it. So I'm going to add send blood donation. So let me see the reminder. So let me see the reminder here. So for the reminder, so this one for the reminder, we need to see if we have sent or we have already export this function. So I think yes. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to call it in our index here. So like that. So let me try and import it. So I don't think I will be able to do, actually I can be able to auto import it like that. So that is that. I think now we have created all the services. So in the next video now we are going to continue with our frontend, but before that let us push the code. So I'm going to come here and add everything now, git add and then commit here. So git commit, and then here we are going to have finished the services like that, and then let us push. So git push origin master, actually not master, this one is background services. So background services like that, and then I think now we can add the passphrase here. After that, now the other thing that I need to do is I need to pull request. So I'm going to come to REPL here, and then I'm going to open this repository here. And then the other thing is that we are going to compare and pull requests. And I think this will be very easy now. You know what you are doing right now. So you can see the data that we have already pushed, and then it's checking for ability to merge automatically here. And after that, we can merge pull request and confirm merge, and that's now we have already merged our branches. So Thank you so much for coming this far. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also like this video, and I'll be able to see you on the other video. So turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. Have a great day. See you on the next video.